Hello, my name is Lauren Sanders, and this case study presentation is for a psychological family assessment course. So, all identifying information about the client has been changed in order to maintain client confidentiality. As you can see, I'm sitting in my car because it's the only space that I can find um, that will be quiet for the next 15 minutes. So, the client was referred to my practicum site by her primary care physician. He recommended that she receive psychotherapy along with the medication that she is currently taking to treat depression and anxiety. The client is a 57-year-old white female. She has been widowed for 11 years and has two children between the ages of 28 and 25. When the client arrived for the assessment, she was on time and was dressed appropriately. She said that she had not had any previous mental health treatment in the past and appeared to be nervous because she was messing with her fingers in her lap. I explained to her that I am not a therapist and that I will be asking her questions from an assessment that will help me build a strong understanding of her past and present. The information that is gathered will then be put into her file so that the therapist on her case will be able to access it. She nodded and agreed to continue. After a few minutes of building rapport, I asked her what she feels is the biggest problem that she is facing at the moment. At first, she appeared to get a little emotional and said that she has been battling high anxiety and depression for over 5 years. She voiced that she is tired of feeling this way and that she has needed to talk to someone for a while to get things off of her chest. She said that she has attempted to resolve this problem by taking medication. However, it's only a temporary fix, and in the back of her mind, she is often nervous about what would happen if she were to ever completely run out of her medication. The client grew up in a rural area and moved to the big city when she got married. She graduated high school but only attended one semester of college. She decided that college was not for her and instead pursued jobs such as volunteering and waiting tables. Once she had children, she became the director of a daycare and is very proud that she was able to spend this time with her children when they were young. She feels that they have become well rounded adults because of the choices that she made in raising them. After her children started grade school, she worked different administrative jobs, um, such as secretarial work, answering phone calls, data entry, those kinds of things. Um, the most significant event from her history is her husband's passing 11 years ago. Since then, she says that she has been struggling to make ends meet. She was forced to sell their family home 5 years ago and has moved in and out of several different friends and family's houses. She is currently living with her daughter and son in law in Oklahoma to help them raise her 2-year-old grandson and has been living with them since they brought the baby home from the hospital. She feels like the dynamic works because her daughter and son in law need a babysitter so that they are able to work. And so, since she is there and helping them, they in turn pay for her bills and living expenses. Um, Her son drives a truck and lives in Texas, so she only gets to see him every few months and during holidays. Um, but she wishes that she could see him more. She feels like the bond that she has with her son um, is is better than the bond that she has with her daughter. Just she says that it's always been that way. She has a boyfriend that she has been with for 3 years. She lived with him in Texas before moving to Oklahoma and describes their relationship as hot and cold. She says that they love each other, but he is hard to live with because he has never been married and that his family does not have a history of mental illness, so it is very hard for him to understand her depression and what she's going through. Um, because of this, it's hard for her to explain herself, and it makes her feel like less of a person because she's having to make medication and constantly having to explain why she isn't able to do things such as go out and spend time with friends and um, just be social the way that she wants to be and that he wants her to be. So she feels that she does not have much to contribute to the relationship. Also, because she doesn't have any income. Because of this, he often feels resentful, and that um, he he doesn't like to pay for everything. When asked to identify her strengths, it took her a minute to answer. She says that when she's feeling well, she would describe herself as a people person that loves to laugh. She also says that she has a strong family support system. Her support system includes her daughter, son, her son in law, her older sister who lives in Texas, her boyfriend who, even with his faults, he is supportive, and the few friends that she's made in Oklahoma. Uh, Her parents are passed away, and she does have family that lives in a different state, but they're not. They are half brothers and sisters, and there's been some conflict there, so she does not have any much contact with them. She says that her feelings are easily hurt, and that in the past she has had feelings of paranoia and that her friends and family are out to get her, um, and feels that sometimes they don't always have her best intention at heart. She describes that her abilities are that she has no physical limitations and that she has always been the go to person in the family when emotional support is needed. She enjoys the feeling of being needed, but she also can take on too much of that emotional responsibility, and it and kind of bites her in the butt and causes her more stress because she is not able to immediately fix their problem. She says that her anxiety and depression is her biggest limitation because once it hits, it prevents her from being her outgoing self. Her financial situation is also a liability because she does not have a steady source of income other than her daughter. She expresses that this is a major contributing factor to her anxiety and depression because she does not like having to depend on other people to pay for her living expenses. She says that the anxiety and depression is so bad that it does not allow her to work in social environments. Um, the jobs that she's had in the past 5+ years, she's only had for about 6 months at a time. Uh, she says that she, will feel really anxious. She doesn't like to count money back, so she does not feel comfortable working cash registers. Um, she doesn't like being put under pressure with people ask her to do something with a time restraint that makes her really uncomfortable, and because of this she has applied for disability and is waiting to hear back on whether or not she's gotten approved. She says that she has some good days, but the majority of her days are bad. On her good days she likes to open the blinds and listen to music, let the sun in, and kind of dance around the living room. Um, on her bad days, she finds herself crying at the drop of a hat and only wants to stay in her bedroom and not see anyone. She says that she often finds herself confused about what she is doing, such as going into a room and forgetting why she went in there, um, and that she's not able to concentrate on simple tasks such as following a recipe and gets really anxious over doing anything that has a time restraint. Um, this annoys her because she used to really love to cook, and all the family used to come over to their house and they would have big family events, and she would always cook for everything. So she finds it really frustrating that she can't enjoy doing that anymore just because she feels too pressured. Her son and daughter often get frustrated by her indecisiveness because it's hard for her to make quick decisions, such as where to go out to eat or just to make any kind of rash decision. She says she sometimes even feels stressed and overwhelmed with her grandson and his toddler behaviors. Um, 2-year-olds can be hard to handle, and she just says that if he's having a bad day and it's very just not wanting to listen, that it stresses her out a lot. Her primary care physician put her on sleeping medication. She says it has helped to regulate her sleeping patterns, but if she misses one day of her medication, it takes her about a week to get back on a good sleeping schedule. She's also on medication for high blood pressure, and that she's been on that for many years. Her family had a history of high blood pressure, so she kind of always knew that that was coming. Um, Her doctor also has her on an antidepressant and anxiety medication. She feels like the combination of these medications seems to be working for now, but she often, is always feeling um, like she's on an emotional roller coaster. She has really high highs and really low lows. I asked her about the history of drug use in her family. She denied that there was any family history of drug use, but she did admit to drinking alcohol at least 2 times a week, mainly in social environments. She says that immediately after her husband passed away, she drank almost every night, and it caused a lot of rifts in the family, particularly with her children. Um, she's very sad about this and feels like the relationship with her daughter was really impacted by this, especially since her daughter um, did move to Oklahoma and there was so much space between them, and there wasn't ever the right time to reconnect with her, which is why she feels like her bond with her son is stronger because he stayed in Texas with her. Um, she said that she drank to drown out the pain of losing her husband and did not know how to be alone. They were together for 16 years, and so she was not ready to be a single parent. She voiced that she would sometimes think that she would rather not be here anymore, but was always able to quickly remind herself that she needed to be present for her children, regardless of their relationship with her at the moment. Um, Her mother was very strong in her Christian faith, and she instilled this in her when she was a very young child, and so she always knew that if she were to self-harm, that she would go to hell. She has not had these feelings in over 3 years, though. Once she moved to Oklahoma, her relationship with her daughter improved with the arrival of her grandson, and she is very thankful for this. Her daughter does not let her drink in the house, so she only drinks when she goes out to visit with her friends or if she goes down to visit her boyfriend. There is a significant history of mental illness on her mother's side of the family. Her older sister was diagnosed with bipolar disorder at the age of 30 and also suffers from high anxiety and manic depression. Her niece was diagnosed with bipolar and manic depression at the age of 20, and her nephew was diagnosed with manic depression, anxiety, and schizophrenia at the age of 25. Um, all three of these family members have been in to inpatient facilities in the past, but I was not able to get exact dates on those. Um, Understanding the amount of mental health history that she has in her family, it's important that she receive an adequate amount of treatment that's necessary, as well as managing her medication. This seems to have been an issue. It took her a while to find the right medications that she feels works for her. So now that she um, has found a good combination, she does not want to jeopardize um, throwing that off in any way. Um, the personal diagnosis that I have made for her is major depressive disorder with anxious distress. I chose this mainly because of her statements of having more bad days than good days, as well as her feelings of constant depression. Um, she verbalized that she has lost interest in activities that she used to enjoy because of her lack of concentration. My hope for this client is that she is able to gain some financial independence either by Social Security accepting her disability, or that she is able to obtain a job that does not overwhelm her. I think that if she is able to make money, it'll give her a sense of purpose and independence, um, which will help her improve her depression. Um, I think that's it. Thanks, guys.